Okay, so we're back in another hotel room. I travel a lot for work. So thanks for stopping by. This is a very opinionated video, if you like, because it is purely just to you about my thoughts and opinions and why I think you should play Druid. So before we get into that, obviously make sure you like and subscribe to support the channel, help it grow. Get involved in the comments. Obviously starting to get a nice community built around the channel. You know, people are asking questions. Hopefully I'm answering to the best of my ability. And obviously check out the giveaway as well, which will be running for the full lifespan of this channel. Obviously it's not going to stop at 100k, it's going to keep going if we get that far. But yeah, obviously make sure you check that out. Let's get into it. Alright, so what are we here talking about today? So a few things. So firstly, why I think you should play a Druid, or why you should definitely consider one as maybe your next alt. They bring a lot of variety, and in the right hands they're obviously a very, very good class. So we'll start right from the beginning. Sorry, let me just get stealth so I don't die while I'm talking to you. So they're quick to level. Obviously you get cap form with the increased 30% speed from talents fairly early. You know, you're using all your resources all the time. You're going cap form, burning energy. You might be dropping into bear, using rage while your mana regens. Then you can pop out, do some heals. You know, it's pretty much endless. So that makes them quite a quick class to level, and also fun to level, because obviously there's a lot of variety. If you get bored, I wouldn't recommend leveling as anything but feral, because feral is definitely the quickest path. But you might want to try boomkin. You know, in the late 40s, early 50s, you know, you've been doing the long slog, you want to just mix it up a little bit, and maybe try balance. I'd recommend it. You know, there's not a lot to do other than starfire roots, rinse and repeat, but you know, if you want to give it a go, give it a go. So yeah, quick levelers. Obviously if you're going to do dungeon spams, you can tank, you can heal, you can DPS, and you can do all of those just as good as any other class, maybe at certain level brackets, maybe even better. But obviously I won't get into that. That'll be more for maybe a leveling guide if I ever do one. So if we then skip forward, so you've done all your leveling, you're now level 60. All specs are competitive. I'm not saying all specs are going to beat other specs. You know, there'll be certain encounters where you will. So as a feral druid, you can certainly keep up with warriors, rogues, etc. Sometimes even beat them. I'm not saying that it takes a lot of work. You know, the right consumables. You know, maximum effort, basically, as Deadpool would say. So getting yourself, you know, in Nomagon farming manual crowd pummelers, it's all very time consuming and gold intensive as well. But you know, if you want the reward, then you've got to put in the effort. So you know, that's sort of feral DPS. Feral tanks, obviously, we know perfectly viable. Itemized very differently to feral cats, but you can definitely tank all end game content. And the good thing is, if you go the Heart of the Wild spec, you can heal as well. So one spec you can tank as good as you know, a fully feral spec tank, and you can heal pretty much as good, maybe even better, due to Heart of the Wild, than a full Resto spec healer. So you know, if you like doing a bit of tanking, you like doing a bit of healing, you might be able to put out average DPS. You're going to be lacking Omen Clarity, which is obviously a big deal for a feral cat. So that could be a bit of a loss, but you could still go in a dungeon and DPS with your guild or whatever, so you can have one spec that does nearly everything. And then obviously you've got Resto, which Resto druids are fantastic. You have to really, it depends, if you're trying to push logs, then you know, you might want to blanket the raid or blanket a couple of groups in rejuves before the damage comes, so you should always be predicting damage anyway. But obviously it's not very mana efficient. But if it's in Molten Core and you're just trying to beat the other healers, then just blast through your mana, hot everyone, innovate, take a potion, hot everyone, you know, just in those short bursts. But again, fantastic tank healers as well. You know, you use down ranking, etc, etc. There'll be a Resto guide coming soon. And then balance, which, you know, we know has mana issues, but with such short fights, a well geared boomkin can actually do significant damage. So wouldn't even take those off the table. So now you've got one character that you've got a level to 60, and you can do all all 4 specs basically. You know, you can be ranged, you can be melee, you can tank, you can heal, and very well. And no one would leave you out of a raid due to your spec, or they shouldn't, because as I say, you're more than viable. So that's that's the big point for me, that you only need one character. You know, there are benefits to having alts, obviously, for professions and gathering and whatever else. But another good thing about druids, even when it comes to professions, I think they're more meaningful. It's a more meaningful choice as a druid, which sounds a bit strange, but when you actually look at the big picture, so if you want to do more damage, you're going to go engineering. It's a meaningful choice because you're going to set up macros to goblin sapper charge, power shift, all these things. You won't use bombs, but then you get the ability to teleport to either gadgets or winter spring. You get these added quality of life benefits as well, and obviously repair bots, which people are love you for in raids. So there's a lot of reason to go engineering. I'm engineering. They're everywhere. I suppose that's the best way of putting it. It's not you're not going to be a rarity. So that's the only probably one maybe downside to it, is that everybody you look at in a raid is engineering, but for good reason. Obviously, we all want to do the best we can. So you choose the best class. But the second option is where I would say it's meaningful again. So me personally, I've recently changed. So I was Herbalism just to try and negate a bit of the cost for all the consumables in raids, but I'm now mining to be able to, if I keep looking down here, it's because I am actually trying to play at the same time, because I'm away. I'm using a laptop and a camera separately, not ideal. So you'll want to you might want to do what I'm doing at the moment, which is mining. So I can solo dye them all east. It's about probably average 100 to 150 gold an hour. You can do, well, let's say between sort of 70 and 150 gold. Obviously it depends how many arcane crystals you get at the end, but you're going to get 2 to 3 rich thorium veins at the end of the run. You can kill all the bosses. It's good gold. I mean, you can just kill 2 and then go and mine, but me personally, you might as well clear it because it's not that difficult. There is actually a good guide I saw recently, I'll put it in a description. I think he only posted it yesterday. Willie done a guide, the ultimate Diamall East farming guide, which it's quite good. I had a quick look at it. You can see my Diamall East jump run solo video as well, but I was more just, it was mainly focused at just the first boss, but I might even put a video out of me doing the whole thing, because that's what I'm actually sat doing now. So you've got that. So you've got the profession capabilities, and then again, if we're looking forward, so when it comes to professions, herbalism. So when we can fly, I'm not saying TBC's been announced, but I personally don't see it going any other direction, and I plan on doing a few TBC videos actually, like just thoughts on it, what the state of your character will be in TBC compared to now. But that's that will be in the next week or so. So then you're looking at herbalism. So herbalism could be a very good option, because you can fly around and herb at the same time without coming out of flight form, assuming that that's still in the game. What other professions you got? So again, another sort of side note is, if you do plan on doing any tanking at all, before you get your professions to max, you should consider getting to enchanting up to 265. Just enchanting, obviously whatever side profession you're doing as well, feel free, but get enchanted to 265 to make the tanking trinket that I'll put on screen now, which is the smoking heart of the mountain. Really good mitigation trinket. Obviously you're not going to want to sort of drop your 300 profession to get enchanting to then level it again, so really your first profession that you do should be enchanting, just so you can get that trinket and then drop it, and then you've got it forever, because it doesn't require you being enchanting to actually use. Any other professions worth mentioning? Obviously leather working to make a devil saw set and stuff like that, but at this stage, I would say this stage of the game, that it just come buy off your auction house, it's so cheap. Professions, I'm sure all the professions, I'm sure have got their own benefits, or you might see benefits that I don't see, but me, I would go mining engineering. As I say, mining to make gold, to be able to fund all your consumables, engineering for damage, and just extra little fun bits that are good for your character. I know it seems a bit off topic about why to play a druid, but I just feel that, you know, with a druid because you've got the ability to solo different things like Diamond East, it makes your choice of professions matter a bit more than, you know, if you was let's say a rogue or a warrior who can't solo, or sorry to rogues and warriors who solo stuff, but, you know, I would say they definitely have a harder time. You know, there might be more value getting other professions, because mining and herbalism, to me, outside of Diamond, is just a waste of time. There's just not enough of it about. But again, just my opinion. You might have a great place where you go and farm mines and herbs outside of instances, but I please share where, because our server specifically, Earthshaker, if you do 5 laps around Ongoro Crater, you might find 1 herb. It's that bad. Enough about professions anyway. So why else should you play a druid? Stealth. I think stealth is a big part, especially being a class that can stealth and do so many other things. You know, rogue can stealth, and obviously they've got better stealth, quicker speeds. You know, they've got vanish and all this great stuff. But we can stealth and we can heal. We can take a lot of damage. We can do a lot of damage. You know, having a class that can do all these things and have the ability to stealth lets you be able to do some creative things, some things that other classes, like no other classes, can do. Or even if they can do it, they can do it with a lot more, you know, with a lot more difficulty than us. You know, just being able to stealth can make Diamond East jump runs a lot safer. You know, BRD solo runs if you're trying to farm Hand of Justice or whatever. You know, there's a lot of things you can do with a lot more ease because of stealth. But I'm not going to talk too much about that. Just in my opinion, why I play a druid, that would be up there. As would teleport Moonglade, because I'm lazy, don't like flying. It's great to have that, you know, that additional teleport to somewhere, especially when you're Alliance. You know, having that teleport to the other continent is just, again, a quality of life thing. I used to love it about Monk, you know, with Transcendence. I want to say, was it Transcendence? No, it wasn't Transcendence. What was it? I've not played a Monk for a while. Whatever. Where you used to go back, tell me in the comments. I can't even bother to look it up. But yeah, where you used to be able to go back to the temple-y place. I've not played MOP for ages. Anyway, so PvP wise, we've done PvE, so let's do PvP. A flag runner, you know, especially get your set bonus, your PvP set bonus, so you run even faster. Obviously, they're fantastic flag runners. Every Warsong Gulch pre-made should want one. And they're just a great support class in general in PvP. You know, with roots, heals, they can do good damage. You know, you can play some sort of hybrid spec. I mean, actually, Heart of the Wild spec is very good for PvP anyway, because you've got the instant heal. You're quite tanky. You know, you've got both dots, so you can Moonfire, Insect Swarm, go in bear, just outlast the opponent. So another reason why you should play a druid. Great in PvP in the right hands. Maybe not the greatest reason to play one, but there's not too many druids. You know, there's loads and loads of warriors. There's warriors everywhere you go. Rogues, mages, especially mages. There's not that many druids, so you shouldn't have a hard time getting in a guild. And if you do get in a guild and you start raiding as a druid, no matter what spec you are, there'll only ever be 3 or 4 druids, absolute maximum. If you're playing feral, obviously you're going to be competing against warriors, rogues, hunters, all that, but that's just unfortunate. That's the way itemization in gear works in classic, and we're stuck with it. But a good thing is you can get in a guild and you can become a real strong part of their core fairly quickly, just because we've got quite a low population compared to other classes. And the big one for me really is it's good to be the underdog. I wouldn't want to play a warrior who everybody expects the warrior to do massive damage. They expect the rogue to do massive damage. Well, they don't expect the feral druid to come in and do massive damage. So, you know, it's quite satisfying when you go in these places and you pump out some serious damage and people are like, wow, you know, I've not seen a druid do that before. So we playing the underdog class can sort of change the perception of our whole class. It only takes a few good druids to change people's perception on what we're capable of, which is a lot. In all specs, it's a lot. You've just got to play it right. But I would say they're the main things. And then if we was to sort of look forward, if we do get to TBC, the reason you should be playing a druid now is obviously to hone your craft and be as good as you physically can be, because in TBC you'll be even better. I've got very fond memories of TBC and ferals. I mean, I've been playing a little bit on private servers, whether you condone it or not, but I like to see what's going on, so I've been looking at Endless, which it looks good. It's a bit of a strange server, which I'm not going to go into the details too much at the moment, but I remembered why I loved playing a Druid in TBC, because you just get so much. The rotation as feral changes completely. We're allowed to use bleeds. We get mangle. There's less power shifting. You still do it, but probably not to the extent we do now. Obviously, if you're Resto, you've got life bloom and tree of life. If you balance, you get your treants. You get all the mana regen as balance, so it becomes a more viable PvE spec in longer fights. And bear tanks are just amazing because we get so much armor. It's ridiculous. And the talent trees are probably, I would say, less customizable in TBC than they are now, purely because that end talent is further down, and in the majority of the specs you want to get to it. So the talents is probably the only thing I'd say a downside is, but everything else that comes with it, the weapons look fantastic. For feral, they was gods in 2v2. Feral, Druid Rogue combo, for example. I mean, Druids were like flavour of the month, Resto in TBC for the first few seasons. They were just god mode healers. So, as I say, I can see us going into TBC. You'll be in a very good place if you're playing a Druid. This video was meant to be quite quick, so I'm going to pretty much leave it there. But they're my reasons why I think you should play a feral. I keep saying feral Druid because I'm a feral Druid. They're my reasons why you should play a Druid. Let me know if I left any out or didn't go into enough detail on any of it. And I'll see you in the next video.